Okay, viewers, I'm here for episode 2 of ani-MAY-tion month, the month of videos where I look at animated movies and give a review of them. And they're not all going to be Disney. In fact, today we're looking at a Don Bluth movie. Oh yes, Don Bluth, Disney's at one time biggest competition until he basically became Disney and had a string of box office failures after All Dogs Go to Heaven, which I might look at. Who really knows? Uh, I'm also probably going to try to look some DreamWorks pictures here and there if I can find them. So, the topic of today's episode, as I said, is a Don Bluth movie. Specifically, Don Bluth's 1997 animated film Anastasia, based on the legend of Anastasia Romanoff, the daughter of the last Tsar of Russia or something. Uh, Now, this is an anime movie based on a real person. And if Pocahontas showed us anything, it's that we really don't know how to do history good in America. Especially when we can't even get ours right, we want to try to do other people's history. But to be fair, this is kind of sort of a legend in a way. While it's based on the actual person, it's more told from kind of a fairy tale legend kind of thing. So we open with a flashback given by Angela Lansbury of Murder, She Wrote fame, and also she voiced Mrs. Potts in Beauty and the Beast. And she's explaining the entire premise, so to speak, and that is that there was a party for the Romanoff clan. And during this party, the evil wizard Rasputin put a curse on the Romanoffs that said they would all die. And while the Dowager and Anastasia were, she lost track of Anastasia. And that sets up the entire movie. And that leads right into our first musical number, A Rumor in St. Petersburg, or at least our full musical number anyway. And during that, we're introduced to Dimitri and Vlad, who are voiced by John Cusack and Kelsey Graham, respectively. They're a couple con men who are looking to find an actress to play Anastasia enough to where they can get 10 million rubles from the Dowager. Or will they? And obviously, they're going to find her since there wouldn't be a movie without it. So after the song, we cut to an orphanage or something, and that's where we meet our female lead, Anya, voiced by Meg Ryan. And she's trying to find her family. Isn't that something? She's trying to find her family. Well, there's something new. And, she's trying to find a sign to go to St. Petersburg, and she finds a dog. And the dog leads her to St. Petersburg, and at that time, she also does the song Journey to the Past. So she arrives in St. Petersburg. At the same time, Dimitri and Vlad are holding their auditions for the Princess Anastasia. But none of them work. But none of them work. But eventually, Anya meets the two of them, and she convinces them enough that she might be Anastasia for them to go to Paris, which is where the Dowager is. Now, after this sequence, we're introduced to Bartok the Bat, who's voiced by Hank Azaria, who's best known as voicing Moses, Lack, and several other B characters in The Simpsons. And he's in the employ of Rasputin, who is alive underneath ground somewhere. And apparently because Anastasia's still alive, he can't be whole or something like that. So he sets out to kill Anastasia. And they actually do say kill in this animated movie. Because this isn't a Disney movie. This is Don Bluth, a guy who could be quite dark if you watch movies like Secret of NIMH and whatnot. So yeah, they actually say kill, not destroy, or, Disney did in Snow White and Seven Dwarfs, but they've really never said kill much in a Disney movie. And Rasputin also sings probably the most well-known song from this, In the Dark of the Night. And Rasputin's voiced by Christopher Lloyd, which is always nice. The Nostalgia critics actually made Christopher Lloyd more of a internet meme lately or something. By that, I was frozen today line he did from Suburban Commando. But he actually does a very good part here. Kind of like when he was playing Judge Doom in Who Framed Roger Rabbit. So Rasputin sends his little minions, these green gargoyle-looking thingamabobs, to get Anastasia in her sleep, or off this train or whatever. But Dmitri and Anya foil that, and they end up getting on a boat that's going to take them to Paris. And while they're on that boat, Rasputin puts Anya, under a spell, and she almost jumps off the boat, but Dmitri saves her. Now, during all of this time, Dmitri has come to realize that Anya is Anastasia, and he knows that because he was in the palace on that day when Rasputin attacked. And he tells Vlad about this, and Vlad says they should tell Anya about it, but Dmitri doesn't want to. So eventually, after, singing a song called You Can Do It, they end up going to Paris, and they meet the Dowager's cousin Sophie, but the Dowager won't meet anybody else because everyone, while they look like Anastasia and sound like Anastasia, they're not Anastasia, so she's tired of seeing them. But Sophie arranges for them to meet the Duchess at the Dowager at the Russian opera, which is for Russian ballet or something, which is performing in Paris. And Dmitri tries to get the Dowager to meet Anastasia to Anya to no avail, but that's when the stereotypical rom-com thing of the misunderstanding that breaks the two leads apart, but eventually, they get back together thing, that cliche in most romantic comedies, that shows up here as usual, as Anastasia realizes that maybe all Dmitri wanted was money. So Dmitri later hijacks the Dowager's car, so yeah, now this guy's lost. Not only is he a con man, he's now stealing a car. Yeah, this is a Don Bluth animated film that has a person stealing a car. And could be borderline kidnapping, but he doesn't really do much of that. But that would technically be what the charge would technically be. So he convinces the Dowager to meet Anastasia, or Anya. And when she does, because of the locket that Anya wears on her, around her neck, the Dowager realizes that Anya is Anastasia. And she offers Dmitri the 10 million rupees, but he doesn't take it, which redeems him, I guess. But he doesn't take it, and he's getting ready to leave Paris for St. Petersburg as a reception is held in Anastasia's honor, and Rasputin wants to crash it, so to speak. So, during this time, Anastasia's dog wanders into a garden or something, and Rasputin traps Anastasia there. And is trying to kill her with all this stuff, and then Dmitri shows up. Out of the blue, really, because they never even showed him reminiscing about, or even deciding to come back to Anastasia. Nor did he even know where she technically was at this time, but nah. It's animation, don't question the logic sometimes. Dmitri and Rasputin fight, but Rasputin, using some of his power, makes a statue of a horse come to life, and it knocks Dmitri out. But Anastasia eventually destroys Rasputin's little magic cylinder thing, which destroys Rasputin. And traditionally, the two leads get together. And that's how this movie essentially ends, as Anastasia essentially gives up being royalty to go live with Dmitri. So how is this as a movie? Well, as a movie, I don't think it's bad, even if it probably is historically inaccurate. Because, now keep in mind, I don't know a lot about the Romanov history, so I do know that this is a somewhat historically inaccurate film, as none of the Romanov clans survived anything, and that Rasputin was not evil towards the Romanovs. I believe he was actually a friend of the Romanovs. But again, as I said, it's used kind of in a way as a legend or a fairy tale or something like that, so you can play around with it a little bit. Maybe not the extent that Disney did with Pocahontas, which I'll probably get to later this month too, because I do have that. And this is the thing, this is only going to be movies that I can do, that I can either find on Netflix or have on DVD or can find on YouTube, because other than that, I can't really do a lot, so. But, yeah. I think all the voice talent works good. The songs are not that great. Don Bluth's specialty was never song. In fact, his first couple animated films, Land Before Time and Secret of NIMH, did not have any songs in them, and are animated masterpieces, and are two of the finest animated movies of all time. So the songs, while weak, they're not bad. Although I think In the Dark Knight is arguably the best one, just because of what it is visually. It's got the best visual with it, which also helps in a musical sometimes. This was Don Bluth's second to last animated theatrical film, I do believe. His last one that I know of was, I believe, Titan AI. But I could be wrong on that. That's my review of the 1997 Anastasia movie. I'll be back probably in a couple days with another animated movie of my choosing. This will be in the ani-MAY-tion month playlist. So if you like this video, like button is down there, subscribe button is down there, and thank you for watching. Bye.